I'm at the boat today and I'll be replacing the impeller. So I've got my Yanmar Impeller and the gasket. So I've never taken the impeller off before on any engine. So have never inspected this boat's impeller. I'm hoping that it's okay and just a little old and time to be replaced and there's no missing parts, but this should be a relatively simple process. I'll show you how I do it and then we'll see how it goes. There she is. This is the impeller is behind this wheel on the back side, up in that housing there. So you got two hoses for the freshwater intake. First thing I'm gonna do is turn off my through hull. There's a nice look at the new through hull I put in this winter. I'm gonna turn it off. As you can see, I had to cut the handle of the through hull because when it was tightened all the way, that's just where the handle ended up and it was gonna hit the shaft. So now I've got like an inch of clearance there. So the shaft will be fine. Yeah, so I've got my new intake, raw water intake hose going up to the strainer. So yeah, that's good. Turned it off, closed it, and now no water will come into the boat while I work on the impeller. All right, I just popped these off with a 12mm, both these bolts. Bottom bolt, pretty corroded. The top bolt was clean as a whistle. So this came out of here, looks great. This one, a little corroded, so I'll clean that up as best I can. Shoot some rust preventer in there. So now the bolts are off, I'll take off this belt, and then you can see the back of the impeller. So I'm gonna take off this hose so I can access the backside easier. Got those bolts on the back plate there to take off. When I take this belt off here, there'll be some water or some antifreeze. I haven't run the engine yet this year, so it's probably antifreeze in there, but this tray will help catch any residual water. Okay, that hose came off without too much of a fuss. And now I can get to the back side and get this plate off with these bolts and get to the impeller. And I just tucked this hose up behind here for now. I just moved it up so it's not spilling or dripping. Okay, kind of interesting, when I popped these bolts off, they were actually painted over, which makes me think this impeller hasn't been changed in a long time, or the last time someone did it, they painted over it. So either way, interesting. I've got all 6 bolts off the back, and now I'm gonna pop this open and see what it looks like. All right, first glance, looks good. I mean, it feels like it's brand new. Very little wear, no signs of cracking or anything. So probably didn't need to do this, but it's good practice. And yeah, so I was able to just wiggle it out of there by grabbing onto the fins and pulling. It took a couple minutes of just going around, pulling each pin up, and slowly it started to work up out of the that impeller housing. Go ahead and clean off this surface for the gasket. I'll clean these off and then put in the new impeller and gasket and put it all back together. Got both surfaces clean. There's the plate, there's the impeller. All right, I popped that guy in there. It's pretty easy to put it in. You just gotta kind of bend the little fins and line up that like key hole with the notch, and it goes on much easier than it comes off. So I got that in there. Now I'll add my gasket and the backing plate. Got the plate back on and it's looking good. Cleaned up my bolts a bit, sprayed some rust penetrator remover in there. Just cleaning this out a little. It's probably as good as it's gonna get. All right, there she is, all put back together. Hoses are tightened. I'm gonna open up the through hull and get her fired up. See how she goes.